All right. Good evening, everybody. You might notice new graphics here, thanks to the wonderful and prolific Doxy. We have all new graphics for the system. I don't have every one of them in place yet. There's going to be some other cool features coming, but I spent the day getting these done, getting the videos re-rendered, all the fun stuff, because somehow Doxy has 5 million hours in every day, unlike the rest of us humans, and gets a million awesome things done a day. I have no idea how, and I'm sure, just like the rest of us, he also completely believes that she's not getting anything done. I don't know. I know how I would feel even if I was getting as much done. So, Doxy, you're awesome, and we love you. Thank you. Let's see here. Joe is ready. We got video, so here we go, everyone. We are going live with transitions. There we are. All right. I think everyone can see us now with our new backgrounds and all that. I'd love to see if the chat is working, so someone out there say something for us. I gotta move a couple things around a little as I get a feel for this new backdrop. So, also tell me how you guys like the setup, all the fun stuff, you know. There we go. I think I got the switch in a place where I can see it now. There we are. All right. New design. You'll notice the background goes through it transitions and all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, we've got new pause, new ending graphics, everything. Yeah, you know, it's rare that me and a designer, a creative person, get along. Even like me and Joe, when we've talked about creative stuff or writing stuff, like, are usually pretty far apart. Like, so when Doxy started bringing me things and I was like, this is exactly my aesthetic, I was really happy because it's very hard for me to just, like, I'm not good at being critical to creative people, right? Even if it's like in our best interest that I say the things I need to say. So it's just, yeah, it's amazing that the aesthetic that Doxy went with happens to be exactly what I wanted in the exact colors I wanted, like, first try. So I have been accused of just not being willing to tell her that I didn't like it, but no. This is awesome. So anyways, yeah, well, thanks for the raid, Talking Vipos there. So yeah, so tonight we've got Joe back. Some of you might remember Joe from, well, the last decade or just the last show he was on. We've got all kinds of things to talk about and all kinds of things on my list of we can't talk about them yet. But Joe will come back when there are some interesting things, stuff you've read about in the news even lately that that we want to talk about. But we'll be talking about them maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll see when time is the right time for that, you know. But tonight we've got a bunch of fun stuff to talk about and a bunch of horrible stuff to talk about, as per usual. It's America and the world and humans, and the human condition is that we suck. That's how I see it. You know, I think you agree with me.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, I just got a double raid. I don't know how you did it, there, Tucking Vipos, but there we are. You know, and everyone knows, you probably don't, you know, watch every Friday with, like, me and Cortaner, but, you know what happens, Joe? At the end of every, episode on Friday, Cortaner goes live to game, and then I do a raid, and I send all the users over, right? And every damn time, like, it doesn't let me raid, or I have to reload the thing, like, 10 times before it even shows he's live, and people just can raid me twice at once, and I don't know why. Everything's always broken for me, but it is always broken for me. Ugh.
Yeah. Hug. So,
yeah,
Raiders.
how you doing?
Good. I shaved because I couldn't stand it anymore. And
I have to. I just been lazy today because I've been working on graphics and videos.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. You know,
this
I kind of want to
mostly be gone tomorrow.
So, on the topic of Raiders.
Yes.
If some, you know, who the hell knows what faction they're part of. If they come in to raid your your Twitch stream right now, and they start spamming you a bunch of gay midget porn, and that gay midget porn also has cryptocurrency mining malware on it, you're gonna ban all of the raiders, right?
Yes.
Right, of course. So let's say those raiders take the crypto that they mined from this operation. And then they go and then they decide to sue you and pay the lawyers. They find some crooky, shady lawyers to sue you to say, like, Gregg banned me and violated my First Amendment rights to spam gay midget porn with malware that uses your CPU to mine cryptocurrency. It's probably going to get its ass thrown out of court.
I would assume so.
So let's say for some reason they go to, like, I don't know, somewhere with weird protections or just like really crooked judges. I don't know, like Texas or fucking Wyoming. And then all of a sudden, it goes through the circuit court and it goes to the Supreme Court. Is the Supreme Court going to force you to unban this jackass?
No.
Exactly. Which was the news from this morning.
So, you can't. that goes right to this. I'm gonna put up this tweet from earlier, and show everyone Charlie Kirk's wonderful wonderful tweet from earlier. So the Facebook Oversight Board, funded and powered by Facebook, staffed by Facebook, and working wholly in Facebook's interest, found that Facebook did nothing wrong. Surprising! Although, funny enough, in this instance, Facebook didn't do anything wrong. They banned Donald Trump for all the disinformation he was spreading. But
using the platform to overthrow the government.
Yeah, so like, it was the correct thing for them to do. I just do still, no matter how correct their decision is, I will always find it funny that the Facebook Oversight Board, started by Facebook, run by Facebook, found Facebook right. So now this is just some private company with a kind of external board that is supposed to be an oversight board to be able to rule against anything that might be brought up to them, like the banning of Donald Trump, which was appealed to them, right? This is not a U.S. court. This is not some oversight committee of Congress. This is nothing that the government has anything to do with. And Charlie Kirk says that the U.S. Supreme Court should overturn. There. That's not how law works. And also, it's a private company.
Right.
If you want bakeries to be able to say no to doing cakes for gay weddings, then you also have to allow Facebook to ban users they don't want from their services.
Including the President of the United States.
Including the former President of the United States. I like saying it that way a little better. Yeah, so I would like to address one thing from your lead up to this story, which is, I do believe that we are supposed to call it little people porn.
I'm sorry. Like,
I mean, when it's porn, is that a thing that like they care about anymore? Like, I try my best, and a lot of this I'm now in my 40s, so I've said certain terms for my life for so damn long that they're just stuck, and I have to fight really hard, and I just want to make sure that like we didn't say that one wrong you didn't say whatever, but you know what I mean.
Well, for the purpose of the terminology and the keywords, it's probably a better idea because it infers that the person is a adult.
Yeah.
Little people, that can open up like a whole nother dimension of like, we're not going there.
No. So I, of course, tweeted that all out, that Charlie Kirk wants your bakery to make gay wedding cake. And I got the standard responses of people who didn't see the sarcasm in what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I had to add a little addendum to it, a little tweet in the thread saying, if you didn't catch that, I can't really do much for you, but it was sarcasm. Yeah, so today, in really big or absolutely not big at all news, who knows, Joe Biden has maybe changed his ways and decided that he's going to waive all of the IP for the vaccines. So third world nations and whatnot can have access to them. The problem is if anyone wants to go read the actual document that the trade ambassador put out, um, it's loose enough and it's weasel wordy enough that it might just mean literally the IP of the mRNA pieces to the vaccine, which does not mean the technology or hardware or manufacturing stuff necessary to also do it. And some of these countries don't have that technology either. So the stuff that's being released will only work for the countries that also already have all the other pieces. Now, what's interesting is it's mRNA sequencing and developing of vaccines based on this process is like 30 years old. So countries like India do have the capacity to do some of this stuff, but at the more modern quality and standards and all that fun stuff to make it, basically genetically the same as what, we're putting out over here. I'm not actually sure about that, and the WTO now gets to decide on that one, because it's now at the WTO, and they're going to decide exactly what this pledge really means, and how much of the technology and how much of the, information gets opened up. But this should have been done on day one, because he promised that was going to be the case.
He did.
There's a pretty, at this point, famous protester here in America, Barkin, in a wheelchair, who got to ask Biden the question of, would you open up the IPs, the patents for all the vaccine stuff? And Biden's response while on the campaign trail was absolutely, positively the only humane thing to do. I think that's almost an exact quote. Like, it's very close. And then, of course, months and months and months of saying he isn't going to do it. And now he finally has. But it's weasel wordy enough that we don't know what he's giving out. So I'm not going to praise anything yet. I'm going to wait and see what him and the WTO work out. Because I'm not the biggest fan of the WTO.
I'm going to wait, too. Because, we see how these things happen. We're coming up next week, or this week, on the 1-year anniversary of Kamala Harris saying that we're all going to get $2,000 a month until 3 months after the pandemic is over. So there's a lot of things there's a lot of things that they've said that, kind of just, get memory hold, or like they get caught up doing other things. And like, look, it's a lot different than the chaos that Trump was running in his administration, where it was just like a free-for-all of whoever pays the most money for access to get whatever shit they want done.
Yeah.
And now, there's actually study groups, there's like research being done, and, there's kind of a return to, the prior order of, sensible, I hate using the phrase sensible government, because that's like conservatives whining about like their right to own guns and abortion, all that bullshit. But, just like these things go through committees, and then they get approved, and then there's a process, and there's a process that's going on. Even though Joe may seem like a little aloof and, kind of like, not all there sometimes, there's people there. There's something in the background going on. And that makes me feel really good, regardless of like the political disagreements of like, neo-libs and whatever, is that, there's just, we're returning back to competence. And I like that. We have to have it.
I mean, okay, so here's where me and you, I think, differ a little, in that that sounded a little more optimistic than I am, because I have this issue of we're returning to competence, but when we've watched Biden use his version of competence in the past, it's led to things like the Patriot Act, the crime bill, and so on and so on. I have not, I do not think a competent Biden is getting things done that I would personally like him to get done, but I think he's getting things done. And given his track record, I'm not a big fan of a lot of what he might want to get done.
Right. Like, his history, his track record speaks for itself.
Yeah.
For those of us that have paid attention.
Yeah.
I think given the current climate and the current crisis, certain things have to be prioritized. And of course, vaccines and getting people like able to go work and get back to like normal fucking life is the priority. And it's something, like, they have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
They have to get vaccines to India. They have to be able to allowing hundreds of millions of people more to die of this is not an option, because variants will mutate, and then we're going to be back where we were last March, where we're all hiding in our fucking basements because we have to wait for a new vaccine, mRNA vaccine, to be sequenced, rather than giving these other countries the right and the ability to go forth and make it on their own.
So in India, we have found out over the last 2 days that there are 2 new mutated variants already due to the sheer growth of the outbreak there. And both early reporting is that they both spread way faster to way more hosts, and that early immunities due to catching it last year, if you had one of the earlier variants, have no chance of helping you in any way from stopping this one from infecting you. And there's a variant of one of the variants that adds a bunch of new features. So it's growing quick in these places that we haven't allowed it to, use all of these patents here. And, we've actually got Rithvik in the chat there who, is going to have a lot of understanding of what's going on there, just due to family going, back and forth there and living there and all that. But it is, I just think the message put out today seems like a half measure, and we're going to have to wait and see what the WTO actually makes happen here. I really hope they just give it all. I mean, there's so much. And I think
they don't have a choice. It's the humane thing to do.
Yep.
Stop waiting for it to get even worse before you decide, all right, fuck our profits, we'll give up our Pfizer stock, whatever. It stops being a thing. If that's the consideration that is going into their decision making, then shame on them. Like it's again and again, and that will also further feed into distrust of pharma that we all know about. Conspiracy theories, being seen as validated.
Yeah. Thanks for the sub there, Magic Window. There's a lot of ACAB related news this week, and that's never a good thing. It's ACAB hour here, right? Because Derek Chauvin's lawyer, Eric Nelson, filed this week to have a new trial based on many motions. He listed off a ton of reasons, none of them really valid. The argument that really stuck and went around the right wing was that one of the jurors actually went to a protest wearing BLM materials, and one of the questions to become a juror was, "Have you done this?" And this juror said no. Now, there's a lot of questions there because, one, it wasn't a BLM event. It was a different event that they just happened to be wearing a BLM shirt to. So I don't think they lied on the questionnaire at all. So it should just be moot. And what's funnier is that isn't even one of the actual motions filed. Like, that wasn't part of the motion. It's just Andy Ngo and Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro and all the rest of them just throwing that out there as the reason because they found a picture of it, right?
They're just throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
As a social media strategy to defend, police, like the right for police to just murder you in the street. And this is a waste of everybody's time for them to be arguing in favor of this. I do remember one juror was asked at the very beginning, because I didn't watch like all 30 straight days of this.
Right.
But I do remember there was one juror that was a Blue Lives Matter, pro-police, sort of, falling into that category that may be radicalized to, into this camp of like just cartoonish police sort of groveling, this sort of image that we have of, and anyway, they convicted him.
Yeah.
So
yeah. A Blue Lives Matter person was one of the people who said, "Yeah, no, that's murder." Now, it's still, it's, I don't know. it's way worse this week than I've seen in a while. We have Rayshard Brooks, the person who was killed at a Wendy's. The cop who murdered Rayshard Brooks has been rehired. So is now a cop again. But because they're still pending murder charges, it's a paid vacation right now.
How?
Pending murder charges. Let's put them back on the payroll. What?
Just no.
I just don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that.
It's horrible. It's horrible because Rayshard Brooks feels like a century ago.
It does. It does.
Yeah. I memory hold his name, and then to hear we're just there's been no trial, but we're letting him back on the force because some rule we made in the 1800s when we were just wholesale killing escaped black slaves. We got a reward for that. So we never actually updated the rule on the books. At least that's how it appears to be. On first glance, at least you're giving him the money to pay his own lawyer and just sit at home, and this is the taxpayer, paying for this. What is this?
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, here in Massachusetts alone, we have over the last couple weeks learned of a case with Michaela Miller, who was found hung from a tree, dead, and ruled a suicide, even after the fact that earlier in the day a big fight had broken out between her and a bunch of other kids. And then, just everything about it is really strange, and the investigation has been going very slow until public pressure, and basically the DA was not looking for murder charges here. And now we're finally getting some push because people like Ayanna Pressley have been pushing for it, and finally, the medical examiner's report's going to be made public and all this other fun stuff, but it took 2.5 weeks for it to even be said publicly by the DA that they were actually investigating this properly, and that we were going to, not just instantly say suicide. I mean, hanging yourself in a tree far off of the actual branch with nothing underneath of your feet to possibly have helped with is a little hard. I'm just going to say there's a lot of problematic things here.
I haven't gone so far to think about, mechanics and physics all the time in suicide situations, but not to laugh about it.
No, but the simple fact that the DA is basically not investigating it properly until public pressure came in and just wanted to write it off as something else really quickly to sweep it under the rug is...
The reason I laugh in the gallows humor is because this is one case however many thousands of untold cases where
this is every day, all day.
A local authority botches an investigation. They don't, the evidence gets tainted. They don't do a proper autopsy. Different conclusions are made. And then all of a sudden, without constant public pressure, it just kind of gets forgotten about. And, I don't think, all of these African American folk go and hang themselves from trees. That's very
no.
I just I don't see they should take a look at it again before
they are now finally, but it's just sad that it took this much public pressure to really get any movement on it other than suicide. And exactly, Jerry, I mean, it's suicide by getting shot in the back of the head 5 times, because that's possible.
Yeah.
But the
let me explain one situation like this. I read Adrian Lamo's autopsy report.
Yep.
And
so did I.
It comes to a conclusion we don't really have a conclusion, and it's possible that somebody injected him with a needle that caused his potassium levels to spike, and there's bruises on his shoes on his feet, where it appears that somebody could have pressed down and then held him, and all you would need is about a minute for them to go.
Yeah.
And that would have minimal bruising. And who knows? It certainly looks like that's possible, but you see very often that any sort of closure on these sort of things, unless somebody's asking the questions or somebody there's public pressure, from local.
Oh,
Congress
right, but
people.
I would like to make it very clear to the audience here that I'm of the opinion that Adrian Lamo deserved far worse. I am of the opinion that I hope it hurt. And for people who don't remember who Adrian Lamo is the reason that Chelsea got caught and put in prison. So, yeah. For anyone who doesn't remember that name from forever ago, good old @6 on the number 6 on Twitter.
Potassium poisoning is very painful.
Yeah. I think he got off light. Yeah. But it's still a sign of the fact that it's just easier for them in the paperwork if they just say it was suicide. But, the ACAB this week continues because 2 Denver police, who everyone should remember from the last year as the 2 cops who shot their, non-lethal rounds of pepper bullets into cars that were driving by protests. And a couple times going away from protests, 3 separate incidents each have been punished for their acts against non-violent protesters. And by non-violent protesters, they mean people driving by the protest. And their punishment is a combined 16 days of no pay, stay-at-home suspension, and then they're right back.
We fucked up and we hit a bunch of civilian targets that had nothing to do with it, and we've punished ourselves with 16 days of docked pay.
Yeah. There it is up on the screen now for everyone. They'll lose a total of 16 days pay for bringing violence against the general public. It's just no. I mean,
how did you train yourselves for this? Did you guys just decide you wanted to have all the ammo cheat code on Call of Duty or something? What is there's a whole new drop on the Intercept today of NYPD crowd control management documents and manuals, and I stopped going out to a lot of these things because generally speaking, these incidents, police, they're like, okay, we're here to manage a crowd, and then almost always end up attacking the crowd when they don't need to be attacked.
As I say in every event, police start riots. Police start riots.
It's true. 1992, the City Hall riot. Rudy Giuliani and Bernard Kerik started the riot. That's how they got their start. That's how January 6th began.
Yeah, way back.
Kerik. Kerik he's been his right-hand man for 30 plus years. It's interesting. The photo I saw of him with maybe you should I don't know if I have it on my phone, I could send it to you, but Q Shaman, Rudy, and Kerik.
Yep.
Kerik is just standing there in the background, hanging out like his bodyguard, the former interior minister of Iraq.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, man, that's you. You invaded Iraq, Bernie, and you, if we're gonna send anybody to The Hague, you're the first on top of the list. So I don't know, man. Him and Rudy and a number of these guys seem to have this pledge to each other, this cult pledge where they're not gonna turn on one another.
Yeah.
Unless there's and Donald was part of that too. Donald absolutely has been a part of that because Rudy got him off of federal money laundering charges in the 80s in
Yeah.
exchange for an endorsement for mayor.
It's never ending.
91, I think. It
Never
like
ending.
it is never ending. It started so many years ago, and like the inquiries that have to happen and prosecutions that happen have to take focus on the fact that this was City Hall in New York and Donald's rise to power that allowed all of these books to continue criming at a level that I think, it exceeds most movies and tales of mafia tales. Even like they became a super mafia because they went legit into politics. Super mafia. Write that one down.
Super mafia. I love it.
Super
if anyone's
mafia.
wondering what that was, you might notice my eyes are starting to water a little. That was Claritin. My allergies are acting up a lot right now. Oh my god, I hate
my allergies are totally fucked too. Like I need some eye drops myself.
So the next thing that we are learning this week is something we already knew, so it's really easy to accept. Liz Cheney came out and said the truth about the election, and now the Republicans want her out of the party.
It's amazing.
You're not allowed to tell the truth over there, and you only can toe the party lines. So we're just seeing it play out in a much louder, much more easily apparent way right now than normal. There's nothing clouding this one. There's no cloaking this. It's the quiet thing said out loud. It's really just right in our face.
Molly Jong-Fast described it best. It's the party of leopards eating each other's faces.
yeah. I love Molly.
I just want to say, you guys were wrong. You guys lost. You lost the election.
And I'm not a Liz Cheney fan. I'm definitely not a Mitt Romney fan. But I am a fan of the trouble they are causing for the GOP right now.
Oh, I love it. I love how they're getting their faces eaten. It's amazing because, this is your party. This is what you allowed your party to devolve into.
It really is. It really is.
20 years. Like Fox News just taking a fucking ice cream scoop, sticking it in your ear and taking it out. Just hollowing out your skulls so we can stuff all this other shit in it. And now you're like, oh my God, why don't they believe me? I try to be like a righteous person. I don't no, this all started because of you guys and your father, Liz, who just doesn't, bear responsibility for any of this shit. Any of the shit that has occurred.
The war profiteer?
Being a war criminal, There's a certain point, like there's a schism of these high-level war criminals in the Republicans the last 20 years. The Cheneys and the Bushes saw the Trumps and Rudy and Carrick himself with Paul Bremer and Wolfowitz and Rumsfeld and all that, they don't want anything. They're like, oh my God, you guys are absolutely, you'll believe anything. Like
they will.
It's a mass, like mobile anthrax labs in Anbar province. We totally believe that. Here's a vial.
That happened.
Yeah. So
no, don't take this moment to become a Liz Cheney fan. Just take this moment to be a fan of what's currently happening due to her actions.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
You guys, it's karma. It's absolute karma. I don't feel bad for it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You guys could have convicted him and showed some spine and at least tried to pretend you were the party of the rule of law.
If anyone keeps seeing me look over here, it's because I've got a lot of notes over here that I want to make sure we talk about certain subjects and whatnot. So whenever I'm looking down here...
And hurry me along after I start ranting too long.
Dude, I've been friends with Joe for a long time, and the one thing we always get into is he will start going, and he'll name 500 people and 600 situations before I can get a sentence out. and I can only remember 3 of those names, and I don't know how anyone's connected, and I'm like, I've never been able to understand exactly how his mind works and how he holds that much information in it, but it's made him a good researcher. It has made you a good researcher.
Thank you.
But, you know, so Bill Barr and the Mueller report. How about that news this week?
Yes. Well, if you had actually paid attention to this and read it and not like so many people just read Fox News like, it's fake, it's totally fake. You know, it was sore loser Democrats with the help of Christopher Steele and other people.
Yep.
And and it's like, bro, he went on live TV and asked Russia for fucking help to win the election. And then next thing you know, the Russians have hacked the DNC. Everybody like watched it happen. There's mounds of evidence.
Yeah.
There's like dozens of Russian government hackers who have been like named and indicted over the past couple of years. And your guys' entire narrative is like, none of this ever happened. Sore losers. And
but people were sanctioned literally while even Trump was president. Russians were sanctioned for some of the stuff they did during the elections. Like, but it never happened. Never happened.
So today's hearing or yesterday's hearing is about further redactions of the Mueller report, the way it was redacted, and the OLC Office of Legal Counsel memo that Barr wrote and then hid to justify not charging Trump with anything.
Yeah.
And then kicking off this battle for these documents that, almost got permanently memory hold because a giant pandemic struck and millions of fucking people around the world died.
Yep.
And we're here now, and now there are people who are constantly like Matt Taibbi tweeted like 2 hours ago, and he's like, well, it would have been a bigger deal. It's like, yeah, it would have been a bigger deal, but he hid it and you didn't read it. And then you and Glenn and all these other
Taibbi
people
has had some pretty bad takes lately. Like he's following Glenn's path, right off the edge.
Yeah. Like you guys, it's clear, haven't been paying attention at all. Like you guys have lost the plot. You aren't even doing any of your own research anymore.
Oh.
If you had been reading like Jason Leopold, what like he is able to like punch out of these guys like a piñata, and put it all together, you find that there's all of these things that nobody talks about, and it's like, yeah, who's in there? And Barr, and if you read it, you also can see that Bill Barr covered up and improperly redacted the parts, the sections about the Russian military troll farms information warfare manuals. So there's literally a section in the manual called "How to Wage Information Warfare on the United States."
Yeah.
And how to do it. And he redacted it out. He redacted that out, showing this is like like it's just permanent in the record. Like this happened, and you like Glenn and all these shills. It's the absolute definition of shill.
It is,
and bad one at that, because they also haven't been reading it and they can't walk themselves back from the edge. And it's like, bro, this happened. Is incontrovertible fact. So that was the line that Amy Berman Jackson, judge, who was also, I believe she was the judge for Roger Stone in DC, Roger Stone's trial, and telling, well, it's no longer Bill Barr because Bill Barr is no longer there. So the DOJ case that they just hung on the new incoming administration, they're just like, yeah, of course, we're going to give it up because we're not acting like that anymore. It's like the Merrick Garland DOJ now, and they now can move these things along. And whereas Bill just acted as like the reprise of the Iran-Contra cover-up guy in the 1990s, and covering up all the Russian interference and all the Russian help that Trump got. And on top of all of that, we have watched this QAnon bullshit, kind of like start from a couple posts on fucking 8chan or 4chan to go to 8chan and rotting these people's minds out. Well, we know that people like Stephen Biss and his wife had these emails with like guys like DeFango and Thomas Schoenberger and all of these fucking clowns, where they were all talking about what clients are going to have, how we're going to do this denial, it's Carter Page, his emails with Carter Page, which I was just like, oh my God. And then you're bragging about, you're representing Svetlana Lahova, the Russian GRU historian, and screaming about how, Stephen Helper was a rat fucker. We put that in a fucking court pleading. We got sanctioned for it, but it was totally worth it to show our loyalty to the Russian military historian league.
Every bit of it. Glenn asked in the chat there if you think Garland's going to release the entire Mueller report to the public.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think it's his choice anyway. It's the judges, and because the various organizations have done the lawsuits. They're just going to be like, do it, go ahead. Like, we don't.
And Merrick's not going to fight it, right? So
no, he's not going to fight it. He's not opposed to the video from January 6th being released. More video. It's just more video. You see it all. Like, I just lived it. But yeah, like you're going to see a lot more of these people whining and complaining and just burying their professional credibility. Like Glenn, I can't even believe, like last night Glenn said, The Intercept is shit.
Yeah, that was a whole thread. He did a whole thread there. It was sad.
Like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Like,
no, I think the thing with Greenwald that we've learned is that we misinterpreted who he was. We because he was arguing from our side for a little bit, we didn't see all the flaws. And now that he's not arguing like a couple specific things that we wanted argued as well, we're now seeing his true colors. I don't think he's changed. I think this is just who he is, and we weren't noticing because he was talking about things like the Snowden documents and Chelsea and all these other things that we cared a lot about. There was an intersection there for a few years of what we wanted to see being reported on and what he currently felt like reporting on. But I don't think he's actually changed. I'm beginning to look at it as this is just who he is.
Yeah, I don't know. Something really weird. It just boggles. Like you have this job. Your position was like what, $600,000. He had a special position in the Intercept as a founding member, and that wasn't enough. He's tweeting like, I only ever met like 4 of the guys there because I was like living in Brazil in my like gated condominium with all the dogs and all of that, and I didn't really get to see any of these schmucks in the office, because I was never there. I didn't have to be. And, it's like, dude, maybe if you were in the office, like, Reality Winner doesn't get, like, ratted out to the DOJ. Your source, as a fucking journalist, protecting the source from being outed like that, falls on you. And if you're just sitting in Rio, like, jerking off all day and writing these pieces and whatever the fuck it is you do there, maybe you have to take some fucking responsibility. No, I don't even want to do that. Nothing is my fault. It's all the cranky shit limbs. He's turning like straight into Tucker Carlson. Like him and Tucker Carlson must have like the same weird synthetic drug dealer or whatever the fuck.
I think he found more money on the right. I think we've seen a lot of people do that move.
Yeah, like they're just literally blowing the money up, like putting the money in a blender, cutting a bunch of lines with the money, and blowing the fucking money. That's what I see. And how do you tell these people to log off? How do you pull them? How do they, have an intervention? These people cause so much fucking damage to like our collective psyches and filling everybody with disinformation because you're like, what is he like? He's mad about something. He's projecting that he's really mad, really weirdly mad about something. We could talk about how Tim the other day projecting his, why won't anybody marry me? I want to find a woman to procreate with. Like
I have no idea what's going on there. I mean, other than they watch his videos maybe, and that turns them off. I'm not sure.
I don't know, man.
But yeah. So chat, like Dwarf there. I mean, I'm kind of, It's a tough one with him because I also actually hung out with him a few times, and got to go to some after parties with Glenn and whatnot, and he seemed in person to be one of us and kind of on our side for like 5 minutes there. Like it was a blip, but just looking at him recently, it feels hard for me to believe that he's changed this much. Like, this is the level of difference of like someone who got hit in the head really hard with like a baseball bat. Now they're a different human being. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just weird to me. But yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. I want to move on from Glenn, though. We've given him enough airtime, and I always give him way too much airtime. I mean, I think one of the things to remember about them is they've all found more money being right-wingers than being left-wingers, and now they're all getting rich off of it. It's a move most of us actual activist types on the left shouldn't make. It's bullshit. I'm not going to. The offers I've had to make various sums of money doing that type of shit is just not going to do it. I'll sit here and be poor for the rest of my life. Ain't happening.
I'll probably be right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, So let's move on to other stuff. Something kind of near and dear to my heart is, always talking about copyright violations and theft and all the other fun stuff that happens. And so something that you didn't see much of, but this went down this week, is Triller, the people behind the Jake Paul boxing matches that happen. They have offered 1 month to get amnesty for anyone who illegally streamed the fight. So the fight was $50, $49, and they've put up a website where if you go and you pay the money right now, then through their legal means of identifying you, if they do identify you, instead of adding you to the list of people they're going to sue, you now have amnesty and you aren't on the list anymore. What I find hilarious about that is like, one, that there were that many people that cared about a Jake Paul fight, but two, this is a money grab. This does not hold up. We now have 3 very strong cases, all 3 of which went through appeals courts too, where an IP address, which is all they're going to get because most of these people were behind VPNs, and that's part of their complaint and part of the language on their websites, that all the VPN providers will have to give us your IP address. Well, the U.S. courts in 3 different states and the Federal Court of Appeals have all found that an IP address is not enough to identify a human being. We have multiple cases. People might remember the media companies hiring a set of lawyers out of Vegas who then kept suing everyone in massive, John Doe cases in East Texas. And those lawyers ended up going to jail for what they were doing, not the people who streamed. So if you happen to find yourself over there and somehow you're dumb enough to find this offer intriguing and you want to go pay for it, don't. You're never getting in trouble from this. It's bullshit. It's a money grab because they think they can scare people into giving them money. Fuck them.
Well, that's what I was referring to when I said Texas before. That's what came into my mind. That weird East Texas.
Yeah, the Eastern District in Texas.
Rocket docket where they just do this bullshit to scare people, and no judge in Hollywood is gonna fucking make that go because everybody's like, oh well, I need to download this shit. Well, then everything like we work on is fucking illegal if you convince some crooked judge like
Exactly.
this. Well, there wasn't a DARM copyright on this particular file, so we're sending your ass to jail. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Fuck you.
So, are you guys ready for K-pop to rule the Billboard charts from here to eternity? Is everyone here ready for this? By the way, Doxy is freaking awesome. Thank you, Doxy. I love it. But are you guys ready for this? Because K-pop is about to own Billboard. And by that, here's what I mean. Billboard are starting a new chart and adding a new indicator to their other hot charts. That is Twitter mentions. And it will be updated every day with which songs are the tops of the charts on Twitter. Can anyone tell me that they honestly believe that anything other than K-pop will ever win that chart? Because it ain't happening. Like, I mean, they've literally just developed a K-pop only chart.
They should just do that. They seem to have that on fleek anyway, you know.
Right.
And here's the thing. Like I've never been to South Korea, so I've never like been deep into this K-pop thing. But I get it. There's millions of super engaged Korean fans, Korean teenagers in their music, and they drive everything. And it's organic and it's real and like
it's crazy.
And like it's nuts.
The size of it is crazy.
So they will clearly dominate it because
the BTS army will send 7 million votes to that thing a day. Yeah. Like, I mean, literally. So I don't know. I just found it funny that they think they can put a chart together based on Twitter mentions and have it mean anything. Like no. Twitter doesn't work that way. Twitter doesn't work that way.
Well, we could do like a thunderclap and like set up.
It really sucks that
so like we can see how we can test it out and see how far up we could get our friends. And
Thunderclap went out of business, so if you want to like start a new one and find a way to monetize that properly, like go for it.
Yeah. I just don't want to be accused of some weird, like, new payola for the 21st century with, like, it's odd. It's really, like, things you actually have to think of when you.
Well, Rod Weber says to tell Joe that he likes the darkened room. The look is good. The look is good.
Thank you. Buy me a light bulb, Rod.
yeah. He needs light bulbs. He is literally not on purpose dark. But yeah. Rod says he will. He's got that Trump money. No. I only wish that Trump money was like $1 million, because then he'd buy you all the light bulbs.
They should have added a couple of zeros onto it.
Yeah, right. So, the other bit of news is if any of you, like, which I just doubt, but if any of you in my audience happen to be rich people and own a Peloton, specifically their new treadmill, send it back because it's recalled and it's killing people. Literally, a child is dead because of its flawed design. And they've known about the flaws for many months. Class actions have been attempted to get going here. And they've said, we aren't recalling it, it's fine. And the reason that this treadmill is deadly to animals and small children and really dumb adults is that unlike every other treadmill on the market sold in America, the front and back of it don't have anything blocking you from underneath. So where the track goes underneath there, you could just like touch it and then you'll get sucked under the thing because there's no guard there stopping you from going in.
Don't let your pets on a Peloton, please.
Yeah.
Like safety for like this is like that's another thing. Pets.
Yeah.
Like, if it's gonna do it to a human, it's definitely gonna do it to your Chihuahua.
So a bunch of pet injuries, a bunch of them. So it took them 3 months from the first major injury and the start of reports to the Consumer Review Board there to actually get them to do anything. They've spent 3 months saying we aren't recalling shit to finally today be forced by the government to do it. So they're recalling their $4,000 treadmill from everyone who bought it. This is almost enough to kill them. This is actually pretty painful.
Why was it a $4,000 treadmill?
Because it's a Peloton and it's got the screen and you're running with other people and you can like run marathons with people and shit.
Yeah. Let's talk about the cyber thing too.
Oh yeah. So in addition to their $4,000 treadmill, yes, that sits outside of your wine room in your house, being recalled because it's killing children. It turns out that on Peloton, you get these user profiles, and you can do friends and followers and all that, but if you have friends, they can see, like, what you're up to, and I'm assuming, you know, if I had one of these, I would be using it because I would need my friends to keep shaming me into using it more, because I would, like, slack, and, you know, but you can set those profiles to private, so nobody can see them, and then you just don't friend anyone either, and so you've got 0 friends, and you've got a private profile. All your stuff's private, right? Well, no. They have a developer portal and API into their profile system for people to make apps for mobile devices for it. And anyone can sign up for an account, and the API has no understanding of private account. It's not even a flag that the API has available in it. So you, as just a person who signed up to the dev portal, can get in and ask for that private data from that user, and it gives you all of it. So the way we found out about this is someone decided to go do that and then send the private profile of a reporter to that reporter. It was like, hey, guess what? Here's your private profile. So yeah, so they put no security into that shit. Which is just like, holy crap. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know if you saw these, Joe, if you watched any of the, Tokyo, Shemp, videos about Rod Webber or Barrett Brown. But, some guy with like 100 followers on YouTube, so, you know, a nobody, has decided that Rod Webber, mostly due to his attacks on Jimmy Dore, it looks like, is COINTELPRO. Yeah.
What? Because he made fun of Jimmy, and now Jimmy's got like idiot troll friends that are gonna be like, you know, I'm gonna tell everybody Rod Webber's an FBI agent.
Rod, if you can, link it in the chat so people can watch it who haven't seen it, because it is hilarious. And then you can just yell at the guy in his wonderful comments there. But yeah, so someone made a video calling Rod and Barrett basically COINTELPRO, or made videos, multiple of them.
Yeah. If you think that we're COINTELPRO, awesome, amazing, cool.
Yeah.
Keep talking that shit because it's fucking hilarious.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, John Jackson is hiring for the CIA. Yeah, no, not a thing. Not a thing. People, man. Yeah, this is the time in the show when I ask everyone, like, subscribe, follow, tip, Discord, all those things I'm supposed to keep talking about. Subscribe if you like what we're talking about, if you like all the things we're doing. There are the 2 videos from Rod if you want to go watch those after the show. They are hilarious idiocy. I mean, the guy is just a moron. There's no logic in anything he's saying. I don't have any more notes for things to talk about tonight. Does Chad have anything else they want to talk about? Did you have anything you wanted to bring up? I mean, I know there's so many topics we can't talk about yet, but yeah. Dinner is in the oven, Jerry. Dinner is in the oven. I will be eating very soon, next half hour or so. So, yeah. I do not have Twitch stream going yet. I will have it for Friday, though, with Kurt.
I would like to point out a tweet that I just retweeted from Rocco. The name of the book that Bill Barr's father wrote is called Space Relations. He wrote this like weird book around the time he hired Jeffrey Epstein at the Dalton School in like 1972 about like an intergalactic space pedophile cult. Like,
of course,
it costs like $1,000 on Amazon per copy. So it's pretty hard to come by. but it's
Yeah.
it's a very weird, you know. People are only just realizing it.
It is absolutely crazy. Yeah, we get Rocco on the show here one of these nights. I haven't even asked. I should do that. He'd come on. You guys would love Rocco. He's entertaining as hell. Yeah. So I'll see if he'll come on next week or the week after or something. Maybe we could do a thing where when you're willing to talk about some subjects that we can't talk about tonight, we could do me, you, and Rocco.
You can interview the cat that got rescued from Tim's.
Yes, the kidnapped cat. That is a story, let me tell you. Oh boy, and everyone who asked about dinner, there we go.
Nice.
It has shown up. Pasta, chicken, all the good stuff, right? So yeah, here we are. We're just over an hour in. I think that's a pretty good show there. What else do people want to talk about here? Because my notes are out.
This is good to time it to
salt
an hour.
goes on everything. Ugh.
Yeah, I have to limit my salt intake. It's not really good. Like, I just want to eat salty foods all fucking day.
It's all I eat. I need salt on everything. Holy crap, Rod Weber with the flood in the chat. What is going on over here? Okay, well then. There you go, everybody. Lots of fun stuff to read up on. Yeah. Oh, that's all the Tokyo Chef guy. Yeah. There you go, everyone. If you wanna understand more about this insane person who thinks Rod Weber's COINTEL Pro out there with his giant penises and blood cult rituals in front of right wingers, yeah, sure. Good
COINTEL
times.
penis. COINTEL penis of Satan.
Right? Oh yeah. Ugh. So, anyways, everyone, what do you got for us, chat? You got anything else for us to do, or are we done? Am I eating dinner? What do you want? Because I think the show's over. I think we had a good show here, everyone. I am going to keep working on all of the stuff that we see here tonight, like all the new graphics, the new videos. We have a few more pieces to this puzzle to be adding in, like on Friday nights before the show, since we randomly run 5 minutes late. Being nice there. I'm going to well, thanks to Doxy and a few other people, we're going to be having like a trivia thing before our Friday night shows now, so Chad has something to work on while we get live. So there we go. It is dinner time, everyone. I'm going to figure out how to set this new setup here to shows over. And I believe that is done by doing this. All right. Good night, Joe. Good night, everyone.
Good night.